you should buy it every year from 1650 to today. And it's the greatest city in America. Bitcoin is on a need-to-know basis. I think that people that discover Bitcoin, they discover it because they need to know about it. And so that need to know comes at different times for different individuals and different corporations and different jurisdictions. If you're living in hyperinflation in Argentina, then you have a need to know. So the Argentinians were some of the early Bitcoin adopters and big Bitcoin advocates. So normally it's people in struggling economies, they get it. And then a company that's well run, that's very successful, doesn't have a need to know, very affluent on the Upper East Side of New York, don't necessarily have a need to know. They come a bit later. But when my company ran into travails and struggles during the COVID lockdowns of 2020, we had a need to know, and we started looking for a solution. So I would say that people adopt and embrace Bitcoin when they run into some challenge in their personal or professional life that causes them to open their mind and think, I need a new idea. I need to embrace a new way in order to move forward with life. The brilliant idea of Bitcoin is digital property. It's cyber Manhattan. I've created a city in cyberspace that's 276 blocks wide, 276 blocks high, 276 blocks deep. You're buying 1/21 millionth of all the money that there's ever going to be in cyberspace. And one day, the 8 billion people are going to want to put some of their money there. And it's the most simple idea imaginable. Do you want to buy 1/21 millionth of all the money in the world for all of eternity? Like the product's going to be the same in 100 years, 500 years, 1,000 years. So think of it like, buying Manhattan in 1750 and you're 100 years late. And someone goes, you're 100 years late. The guy that's selling you the building paid less than you're going to pay. Aren't you afraid you're overpaying? And it's like, well, I'm going to dump it to a guy in 1770 for more. And that's stupid because you should buy it every year from 1650 to today. And it's the greatest city in America. So why wouldn't you want to own 67 blocks of Manhattan? Just like why wouldn't you own 67 blocks of Bitcoin? So you're never going to be too late if you understand that the future digital economy is going to be built on top of 21 million blocks of Bitcoin. I think the important thing is to understand it not as a digital currency, but as digital capital. Money decomposes into currency, which is the medium of exchange, like the peso, the ruble, or the dollar, or capital, which is a store of value, like a Monet painting, like a really nice penthouse in Manhattan, like a bar of gold, or like a Bitcoin. And so if you think of it as currency, you get really confused because you want to buy coffee with it. But the truth is, no currencies are good stores of value. You wouldn't want to hold $1 million of dollars or pesos or marks or francs or yen or anything for 100 years.
Right.
But, if you go and you ask the question, what did it cost for an acre of land in Manhattan in 1900? What did it cost for an acre of land in Palm Beach in 1900? I live in Miami Beach. The land that my house is on was $10,000 an acre in 1930. Now it's $20 million an acre.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you ask the question, what did your Monet cost in 1930 and what does it cost today? The point really is the people that bought Palm Beach or Hampton's real estate or Monet's or they want to buy Bitcoin, those are not speculators. It's not a 4-year. If you bought a Monet in 1913, and if you had to sell it in 1916 in the middle of World War I mean, maybe you sold it at a loss, but you're an idiot, right? Because 100 years later, it's going to be worth somewhere in the range of 100 to 1,000 times more money. So you should think of it as scarce, desirable property, something that a government can't make more of, I mean, the reason that Palm Beach real estate is valuable is because the government can't make more beachfront in Palm Beach. And they can't. The reason that dead artists are more valuable than live artists is you don't want the artist to make any more paintings. You want the Vermeer to stop painting. You want Da Vinci to stop painting. So you need a cap. It needs to be something which is scarce. It needs to be desirable. And Bitcoin happens to be the most desirable global capital asset. People are buying it because the alternative is to buy a building in Africa, or to buy a bunch of land in Siberia, or to haul a bunch of gold bars, in their car across a border, or to worry about someone spilling coffee on their Van Gogh. It's like once you see it like that, you're like, okay, I kind of like the idea that I can hold $1 million worth of value on my phone and I don't have to worry about someone spilling coffee on it. And if I needed to send it from here to Tokyo on Saturday afternoon in half an hour, I could do it. That's the way to think of Bitcoin.